Hello, dear teacher educators. Today, we are going to discuss about nurturing process skills of science. Then, according to the National Curriculum Framework, 2005 has also emphasized and developing these scientific skills. Means here, NCF stressed it, NCF 2005, especially Yashpal's committee, this is also called. Then it stressed about developing the scientific skills among the learners so that they can construct their own understanding, construct their knowledge on their own understanding of science by using inquiry process. And here, while doing the inquiry or using the inquiry, the learners can develop the scientific attitude and scientific temper also while learning science. The learning science will help the students to what is that scientific temper development and scientific attitude development. So here these two are the major major characteristics in the individual's life to lead his life in a successful manner. So that is the reason NCF 2005 stressed that, emphasized that the develop these skills, means scientific skills among the learners, giving much focus. Then objectives of nurturing process skills of science here, to identify the basic scientific process skills to be developed among the learners. First of all, what are the nurturing process skills? The science, what are the nurturing process skills of the science? The children identify the nurturing process skills of the science, as well as that process skills also develops among the learners, and it will also design and develop activities to help the learners for developing process skills in science. Okay, the various activities are developed. These activities are help the learners to develop the process skills among themselves, the learners themselves, and they specify for a role of nurturing scientific process skills among the learners as a teacher's role. What is the role of a teacher? To develop the nurturing process skills of science among the learners is also we'll get to know through this nurturing process skills of science, and to develop their integrated skills among the learners. Okay, how they are dealing with all these things, and how the integrated skills develops among the learners. Learners are also known through the nurturing process skills of science. And more objectives are there: to identify the higher order thinking, to identify the higher order thinking and reasoning through integrated skill among the learners. Means here we talked about the development of integrated skills among the learners through the nurturing process skills of the science. Through these integrated skills, the people will develop, means the children will develop the higher order thinking and reasoning also. The next thing is it facilitates the learners for nurturing aesthetic sense, means how we have to be aesthetic in nature, how we have to be curious in nature. These things are also developed through these skills, and it will also help us to explore the interdependence of various aspects of nature of science. Interdependence means one thing is dependent on others. Suppose if we'll take one example over here, if the equation is there, equation of photosynthesis, okay, H2O plus CO2 gives rise to C6H12O6 on the arrow, sunlight, H nu, like that, in the presence of water, like that, in the presence of sunlight, heat, like that, we'll talk about. Here, carbon plus H2O gives rise to starch. This is the language. C6, H12, O6, C, H, O are the elements related to the chemistry. 6, 12, 6, mathematics. Explaining with the help of some language. Means here, many disciplines are there to understand one particular concept. That is the reason here explore the interdependence of various aspects of natural sciences is the one of the objective. And next thing is, it is a process of inquiry. Nurturing process skills. Under the nurturing process skills, first of all, we'll talk about the science, few things, and later we'll enter into the nurturing process. And science is the process of inquiry, and science involves few processes which may part of a scientific method. Okay, whatever the processes science involves, that process will adopt the scientific method. Okay, then without scientific method, there is no process in science actually. The scientists approach problems by variety of ways, various ways they are dealing with to discover something or invent something or giving a solution to something. Okay, various ways, various paths, various processes, several processes they are what is that approaching, they are using. Okay, that is the reason here scientist approach is different, and normal human being approach is different towards problem, and scientist approach is different, politicians approach is different, poet approach is different, like that. That is the reason here we are talking about the scientist approach. Scientists approach problems by variety of ways which have several processes common to them, and these commonly used process to conduct scientific inquiry. Definitely the scientist approach is consists of scientific inquiries and scientific attitude and scientific skills. That is the reason these skills are called as a science process skills. Okay, the scientific inquiries are termed as a scientific inquiry. Whatever the inquiries they are used in a scientific manner, that inquiries are called as a science process skills. Are here the two types of skills are there. The one is the basic skills, another one is a advanced skills. Under the basic skills, observing something keenly, with intentionally, purposefully, what is happening, why it is happening, how it is happening, and all these things, observing. And observation leads me to do what? Classification and communication through some language, and measuring. Okay, how much amount is working over here, measuring, and estimate something, estimating, and predicting means expecting, and inferring, drawing conclusion, like that. Okay, then these 7 basic skills are comes under the scientific nurturing process skills, that is observing, classifying, communicating, measuring, estimating, predicting, inferring. Further we'll deal with these skills. And advanced skills, we'll talk about the second nature of the skills are advanced skills, and identifying and controlling variables. What things are what is that affecting this, means we need to identify, and sometimes we need to control the variables also. Then identifying and controlling variable skills. And hypothesizing means we'll hypothesize the things, means expect the things. This cause and effect relationship between the two things is called as a hypothesizing the things. Tentative statements or resolutions giving to the existing problems are called as a hypothesis. And interpreting the data. Okay, this is also one of the advanced skill. After happening all these things, we'll interpret the data. And defining operationally. Okay, we'll convert that into the general terminology, and means common usability according to that particular context only. Then that is called as a defining operationally. And experimenting is also one of the most important advanced skill. And constructing models. Finally, constructing models. These are the 6 skills are comes under the advancing skills. Advanced skills, those are identifying and controlling variables is one skill, hypothesizing, interpretation of data, and defining operationally means operational definitions, and experimentation, and constructing models. Here, if you'll observe one thing, all the things are continuation, means process, observing, classifying, hypothesizing, defining, experimenting, estimating, means it's a continuous process. These skills are never ends. And then science process skills, some few skills are there than what we talked in a previous slide. Science is more than a collection of facts. It's a more than collection of facts. Always we are not strictly to lay on that particular fact. This is only the thing, means that gives lots of things that evolves actually. Okay. Then learning in the process skills is preparation for becoming a scientist. Okay. Not all the people will become a scientist, but science graduate, definitely scientific attitude develops, scientific temper develops, and they'll think like scientists for some problems to deal on their own. Then at that particular context, the child acts as a scientist, thinks like a scientist, do the process like a scientist. So here, the learning the process skills is nothing but to prepare, become a scientist. Okay, this is the preparation phase to learning to becoming a scientist. And process skills are the tools to the scientist to use to know about the world. Okay, through these skills only they will observe the world, to know about the world. Those skills are nothing but observing, classifying, measuring, communicating, inferring, and predicting. Yeah, observing. The first skill is nothing but observing. These are the basic skills we are talking about. Then observing is the most basic process of science, and it creates a base for higher scientific inquiry. Really, observation is a powerful tool. If you believe it or not, it's a powerful tool. If you will observe any process or any phenomena or any good trait, then it will create a base for higher scientific inquiry. Then the people will become scientists. If you ask your learners which sense they are using while observing, many of them may reply what? Through which organ they'll observe? They'll observe through eye only, but internally the heart, mind, and spirit, soul will push the eye to observe. Like that. This is the observation. Observing. Yeah, it will also help. Means we will also help the learner in understanding that observing means using our various senses. Yeah, now we talked about various senses to obtain information about object or event or attempt. Purposefully, whatever the thing we are looking at that and observing keenly to know something, to record something, to what is that? To intentionally looking at something is called as a observation. Not casual looking and glance, and not like that. Okay, here observations are not to be limited to seeing things only. Yeah, okay, we use more than one sense organ collect the data about the objects in our daily acts. Means we talked about more than one sense organs. Every sense organ, sometimes we may smell it, sometimes we may hear the sound, sometimes we may touch. Okay, especially internally, the heart is also involved. The heart and emotion, feeling, affective domain will involve is definitely to observe something. Objective way we need to observe. The five senses are there, and sense of smell and sense of sound is ear, sense of sight is eye, and sense of taste is tongue, sense of touch. Through all these observations, what is that? If you're doing something, these all sense organs work together to know something, to respond, to react, whatever it may be. And then actions. Okay. The looking at the change of color in litmus solution, red to blue, blue to red. We are looking with our eye. Okay. Turns it into the red to blue, blue to red, like that. Feeling vibrations in tongues by touching it, sound. Okay. We are hearing the vibrations. Okay. And then feel the vibrations sometimes. If any flight is flying on our home, it's very near. If your home is near to aeroplane, otherwise sometimes flight is flying very, what is that, down places, then you will feel that vibrations in your home. The utensils are vibrated, some things are vibrated, some things will fell down. And then earthquake, more best example is earthquake, vibrations we feel. Okay, smelling, odor of resultant gas during the chemical reaction. Chemistry laboratory is full of with odors only. Okay, smelling something. And hearing, the change in pitch of sound in a musical instrument also, veena, guitar, and keyboard. especially that guitar, musical instrument sounds will pitch up sound is also will hear that differs. One song you'll play in a different musical instruments, it will differs. You will observe the differences between the sound production. Okay, means hearing is also observing. The tasting, a solution to find out it if it has a sugar or a salt. Well, during the sense organs lesson presentation in the classroom, either 8th class students or 7th class students will blindfold their eyes, and we ask them to touch something, we'll ask them to taste something like that, through their touches, and smell something also. Through these things, and we can ask them to what is this and which organ you used, and tongue and ear, nose, like that. The people will say it will be good experience to the teachers and the students to eat something and tell, and that will become the lesson like that. Yeah, here it will come to here a solution to find out if it has a sugar or a salt in it. It involves observation using one of the other sensory organs: looking, eyes, feeling, okay, feeling with the heart or something, and smelling with the nose, hearing with the ears, and tasting. Sometimes feeling is touch also, and tasting with the tongue or mouth, like that. All the sense organs are involved to do one particular thing, or different things are also. Yeah, onion peel cell. Here, onion cells are there. Then observation under the microscope, I'm talking about here, few videos are there. And then nucleus, how the nucleus will be there, cytoplasm, vacuole, how you will identify permanent slide preparation. And after that, you put under the microscope. Then what things are visible to you means cells are there, nucleus will be there, cell wall is visible. Here, if you will see, these are the onion cells, gaps in the cells, and this is the cell wall, and nucleus. These are the nucleus. Dark spots are called as a nucleus, and vacuole. Some gap will be there, no? And that vacuole will observe through our what? Which organ? Eye. Okay. Next, classification. Classification of objects means based on some characteristics or events is a process of imposing order in collection of objects or events based on similarities and differences and interrelationship. These three are the major principles to classify the things: similarities, differences, and interrelationship. Is there any relationship between their two things? Like that. If one particular column will take the all sense organs, another particular column will all take the touch, hear, smell, like that, taste, food, like that. Then there is interrelationship between these two. Then similarities, we'll talk about the what is that, plant taxonomy, animal taxonomy. Differences also comes under the taxonomy. Examples like that we'll take. This is comes under the classification. Yeah, see here, the plant with physical features. The flowers are there. 6 main parts are there for the plant with physical features, and fruits. This is the fruit, and this is a seed, and roots are there, stem is there, and leaves are there, and flowers are there. This is only while looking at the plant, we'll classify. These are these like that. Internally, if we'll open the seed, it will be monocot or dicot. Through the help of that particular internal in-depth observation, we'll get to know based on the characteristics or similarities or differences, we'll classify the things. Yeah, taxonomy. One more example is taxonomy. Classification of corn. Here, corn plant is there. Species and genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom, domain. Okay, from if we'll observe the classification from general to specific, from top to bottom, if we'll observe general, it's a domain, and huge things are there. And a kingdom. If we'll come to the kingdom, some amount of plants will be reduced. And phylum, again, reduces the size, flowering plants. Here, see here, domain is eukarya, and kingdom is a plant, means no animals are comes into this kingdom, plants especially. And phylum, division, means here flowering plants, all the flowering plants. But here mono, okay. And class, Liliopsida, okay, monocytolidans. monocotyledons, sorry, monocotyledons. Monocotyledons means monocotyledons. Then order, Separels, and family, Poaceae, grass family, grass related family, and genus Zea, and species Zea maiz. Like that, taxonomy classification. We are talking about the classifying nurturing process skill. That's why we are taking these examples, corn example and plant example. Yeah, you must provide, means teacher must provide the learners with ample number of experiences to observe similar birds. You can ask them to observe the birds. You can ask them to observe the mammals, insects. All the classifications will come under these to observe a lot. Leaves, different. They ask them to go to the garden and pluck some. What is that? Otherwise, then and there, observe some plants and write down the differences and similarities between the different leaves and plant shapes and size of the leaves and venation even. Okay, like that. We'll provide the ample number of experiences to the learners to observe the similarities and differences among the variety of plants in their surrounding school garden or college garden, like that. Okay, learners must be able to understand the basis of every classification scheme to classify the objects into correct categories. Okay, if they know the characteristics, similarities and differences in what is that, a specific manner, then only they are able to classify and they are able to categorize the things in a successful manner. So it is usually a good idea to include classification activities together with observation activities in your day-to-day science classes. We cannot separate the observation activities and classification activities. Okay, these are the both sides of a one coin. Means here, if we want to classify, we'll observe. If we want to observe, what you will do after observation, you need to classify. So these two are the two sides of the one coin. Okay, we need to provide within the classroom settings. Yeah, the extent of classification depends on the depth of simultaneous, the extent of classification depends on the depth of similarities and differences observed among a group of objects or events. Here, then whatever the classification we are doing, we will understand the depth of that classification with the help of similarities and differences. How far we are good at observe the similarities and how far we are good at the things should be differed from each other. That kind of skill will give us to classify the things in a successful manner, either events or objects or any animals or plants, whatever it may be. Here we may arrive at parallel classification system or hierarchical system of classification. Here we'll see the parallel. What is parallel? What is hierarchical classification? Generally, the learners learn parallel classification system in early grades. Parallel classification, whatever we observed till now, that's a parallel classification. Then early classes, it will be useful for the children to understand in a better manner. So we'll introduce them to observe the parallel classification system. Then after that, the grades are increased. What is that? Another classification system, hierarchical classification systems are also what is that, introduced to the children from simple to complex manner. Here, yeah, parallel classification. Lemon, water, baking soda, and baking powder. Lemon water. Lemon is what is that? Dissolves in water. Baking soda is also dissolves in water. Bleaching powder is also dissolves in water. Even sometimes the vinegar is also we take mix with water. These are the parallel similar classifications. Okay, similar things we can classify: bleaching powder and vinegar, lemon water, and baking soda. Similarities will be there to these things. Then next, yeah, here you'll see other type of classification: vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates are one kind of extremely different classification from the invertebrates, but the gradual characteristics differs from one species to other species. This we will observe. That is the reason here the color of the animals from red to turns it into the dark red to dark blue, but here we'll see the things. There's a less what is that difference between the characteristics or similarities and differences. Here, these are animals that have the backbone is called as a vertebrates. Okay, and these are animals do not have the backbone is called invertebrates. Actually, from invertebrates to vertebrates will move. Invertebrates to vertebrate will move. First, here the fishes will be there, and annelidas. Yeah, from protozoans and flatworms means porifera, annelida, arthropoda, echinodermata. Not all things will be there over here in a modula and echinodermata. The final thing, yeah, see, protozoa, coelenterata, flatworms, and arthropods. These are the arthropods and annelid worms. And after that, mollusca and echinodermata. This 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. It will comes, and after that, after echinodermata, then what is that? Fishes will come. Fishes, fishes, amphibians, and reptiles, aves, and mammals. This is the hierarchical classification. That is the parallel classification. This is the hierarchical classification. Different things, among the different things, the similarities and differences, how it will be there like that. The classification is there. And next thing is communicating. Next nurturing process skill is communication. Here the communication means sending and receiving the message through verbal and non-verbal means gestures. Okay, non-verbal means are ways. And the people communicate in various modes such as speaking, writing, drawing, gesturing, acting, singing, modeling, storytelling, whatnot. Everything, whatever the human being is doing, that is communicates either in a positive or a negative or in a neutral way, whatever it may be. Okay, these are the things in a various modes are a means. The human beings or animals can also communicate through their voice sounds, roarings, and movements like that. And speaking, writing, and drawing, gesturing, movements means expressions, laughing, looking serious towards the children like that, gesturing, acting, some things we can enact the things to role play or drama like that, and singing and modeling, okay, and storytelling. Then communication is the science, is a specialized skill through which scientific knowledge is being. Here, not just general communication, but here we are taking this here in a science nurturing process skills means this communication in science is a specialized skill. How we are communicating? Is it understanding? Is it a, what is that objective way we are communicating or not? That is the most important. Through with the scientific knowledge, it will have some scientific knowledge is being shared and communicated among the scientific community. Whatever we are communicating amongst the scientific community, this needs to be used in a scientific manner. Okay, in order to facilitate the learners about scientific communication, ask them to perform the activities related to science. How we can communicate in science? Best example is experimentation and field visit, recording, reporting things, and presenting that thing. Okay, this is about communicating. And here, the teacher helps the learner in understanding the science as a discipline, as its own special set of symbols. Some symbols. Just now we talked about equation of photosynthesis, carbon, numbers, okay, symbols, and modes that learners learn become proficient in communicating better with scientific community. In some equations will be there. Calcium carbonate will be there. Okay, magnesium will be there. Okay, some what is that? Gibbs rice will be there. Arrows will be there. If we'll talk about the concept mapping, some arrows will be there. Some boxes will be there. Like that, the communication with the help of some symbols. That symbols meanings have to know to the students by the help of the teacher. And learners verbally communicate in a science classroom by talking to the teachers. Verbal communication is the one of the thing. Then while talking means sharing to the teacher, they will communicate, and group discussions also during some collective task they are performing during that particular time also they'll communicate, and individual and personal conversations also during an activity, and giving oral presentations. This is the oral presentation, like that they communicate with verbally. Here personal presentation, he is giving the presentation, all the people are what is that, just they're like listeners. And here the group presentation, all the people will involve to discuss. And written communication is also there in a science classroom, generally happens through creative writing. Calligraphy will be there, graphs will be there, drawings will be there, diagrams will be there, posters are there, pastels are there, making charts are there, and symbols, giving some symbols, and equations will be there, diagrams will be there, whatnot, everything comes under the communication through communication in written. That's especially graphs, maps, drawings, and symbols, equations, posters, permanent charts will be there, and like that. Okay, yeah, let's breathe space. Here, making posters and charts. Trigonometry, this is a maths concept, how trigonometry, the symbols here. See, look at here. With the beads, there's some formulas, tan theta, tangent, op, opposite AD, like that. Okay, sine, opposite by typical, like that, cos theta, cos, typical by adjacent, like that. Yeah, you should develop communication skills in science by encouraging learners. Okay, how will encourage to describe their observations? We'll ask them to what you observe. If they will share their observations, then we'll expect their perception about something. How define terms operationally on your own language, you will share and record their observations as a teacher, and organized from such as observation tables, equations. Use suitable charts and graphs. Means if you'll take the 20 members in your classroom to ask them to observe some what is that bird you placed in some corner of your classroom. Personally, all the people have to go there and observe and note down and come, like that. They all have given that particular report to you. Based on those reports, you need to what is that, assess their performance. How you have to draw one graph. Okay, graph, how they'll observe, how far they are good at observation, what they observed. Some objective will be there, no? Some object will be there to observe what characteristics they need to observe, like that. Okay, equations, and you suitable charts and graphs, diagrams, models convey their understanding is also taking place. And next thing is inferring. Inferring is using logic. Here, whatever they observe in a previous step, they'll get some conclusion, draw some conclusion with a logical thinking. Okay, from what we observe, and inference is an explanation to our observation. Okay, inference is nothing but what you observed, you are telling orally or written in the form of map or graph or diagram or written notes or story, whatever it may be. So here it's an explanation to our observation. Inference is an explanation to our observation about any object or any event. In other words, an inference is a person's best guess about the cause of that observation. Okay, whatever he observed in that particular thing, best thing he picked up, that what is that recurring in his mind, and that he will share. I observed this, ma'am, like that. It is generally based on some evidence also, not vague observation. The most of the time, our inference is strongly conditioned by our past experiences and knowledge. Wherever you go, whatever you learn, definitely the past experience and past knowledge will influence the present knowledge to give some, what is that, response. This is about inference. Yeah, making inferences, using clues to figure out what author's not saying. Clues from the book plus what we already know. I think, I predict, I guess, maybe it is, like that. We used to think by looking at something. And a conclusion draw using observations and reasoning. An explanation, not a fact. You can detect using one of the 5 senses. We finally understand, making inferences. Like that, the people will still, finally we understand, then what? Like that, will infer the things based on some, what is that, observations and reasonings. This is about inference. And next thing is predicting. Okay, predicting. These two are slightly similar, we feel, but let us see what will happen. Predicting is to forecast about what the future observation will be. Yeah. Now only we are telling about the future observation. What is the future, like that. The predictions are based on our observations only, measurements only, inferences, and that we make about relationships among the various observed variables will give us to authenticity to predict something in a future. Yeah, predictions are our best guesses, like that in inference, how we guess our best thing. Then like that here, the predictions are also our best guesses based on the available information, available, what observed over there, that we interpret, that is the inference. But here, available information, at present I have some information in front of me. With the help of that, I'll guess something. That will be my prediction. This will going to happen, like that. Yeah. Weather forecast. Today the rain will fall. Temperature is this, that, like that. Weather forecast, in which meteorologists predict weather on the basis of available information only, observation and analysis, and prior experiences only. Last year, this time this will happen. So this year this will happen, like that. Okay. Partially cloudy, sunny, windy. And the weather today, what is the weather? Rainy, stormy, snow, like that. Very hot, like that. They will predict the things. Next, measuring. Measuring is an important in collecting, comparing, and interpreting data. It helps us to classify and communicate with others. The metric system should be used to help understand the scientific world. Okay. Here, the measuring is important, and collecting, comparing, and interpreting data. It helps us classify and communicate with others. The metric system should be used to help understand the scientific world. How it will be useful means we'll measure the things. Okay. With the help of the metric things, the learner will find the mass of different liquids that have the same volume. Like that, we'll take these are the examples, different mass of the different liquids and liquids. Thank you so much.